All right. I think we're live.
We're live. We're back.
Get this down. Boom. That's what it's about. That Jits life. So we
Easy
tried this.
money.
We tried these yesterday. Was that yesterday? The day before?
Yes. Yeah, 2 days ago.
So this is official first Jits Life podcast. Take two.
Yes. Take two.
First
That
one
Jits
cut
life.
off. That Jits life.
I guess we should start, what is that Jits life? How did it get started? And what are we looking to do here?
Yeah, and first, the other thing,
Or what are you looking to do here?
something I forgot to do the other day was basically introduce you right off the bat. It took me like 8 minutes to introduce you. So, my first podcast, it seems fitting to have my coach, my boss, Joe Watson. Welcome. Thanks for doing this, man.
No, this is fun.
Yeah, I'm
This is
sweating
fun.
less than yesterday. Sweating less.
Means
than
you were in
last
the
time.
cold plunge a little longer today.
Yeah, I tried to. Try to stick in there. It's hard. It's,
Yeah.
stay sweaty. But yeah, just thought I'd start something from a hobbyist perspective. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't compete. I don't know a lot about the rule sets, things like that. There's a lot of high-level guys I've never heard of,
Mhm.
but I still love jiu-jitsu, and most of what I do now revolves around jiu-jitsu.
Mhm.
So it's about that jits life, that jiu-jitsu lifestyle. So the way I eat at night and how I'm trying to sleep at night, things like that, just so that I can train in the morning. So anyway, that's my thought was talk to a bunch of different types of people and see where they fit into the jiu-jitsu lifestyle.
Yeah, how it affects like your whole life and all that type of stuff. Like,
Yeah, everything. I mean, when I originally started jiu-jitsu, I got into it just for self-defense. My
Mhm.
son was, I think, 3 or something. I
Mhm.
wanted him to get into it. I wanted to do it a couple years ahead of time, and then role model, lead by example, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, 14 years now, I think. So just started, and immediately when I started, I was super hooked. We talked about this on the last one. I have kind of an addictive personality, get
Yeah.
super into things, and jiu-jitsu was definitely one that probably took me more than almost anything I've ever done. So I think just because it's so mentally engaging and physically demanding at the same time, and you get humbled every day, that it's just like it's just a very unique sport that like constantly think about and play in your mind. So at least I did.
It's so difficult, and it changes all the
Mhm.
time. Even if there was, I was talking to someone about this morning. Even if there was a set, a number of certain submissions, positions,
Mhm.
all this. Even if there was a book of 1,000 submissions, no one would ever get through it all
Yeah.
or master it all.
Yeah.
But those are constantly changing. There's all kinds of submissions that are
Yeah.
being added and just different ways of doing things. It's
Yeah.
like ever evolving. It's
I
awesome.
find it really fun to go travel and train at different gyms, and like you always realize no matter what gym you go to, I've been to like gyms in the middle of nowhere in Alabama and stuff, and there's like always one tough guy that has like this weird game that you've never felt before,
Yeah.
and it's every gym I've ever been to, and it's like that's one of the cool parts. You're like, man, like to your point, like you can train with all these different types of people, all different types of moves, and like each person has their own unique game.
It's so creative too.
Yeah.
There's just because there's a way to do a triangle doesn't mean a person with a different body type has a completely different way they get into it or
Mhm.
different way they do it. And there's just, it's fascinating, the mental aspect of it. I remember, I forget if I was just kind of geeking out on a YouTube or on a jiu-jitsu documentary or something, or talking about, the mental aspect of it, like
Mhm.
how hard it is to stop something from strangling you. You've got to slow yourself down, kind of really think about what you're doing, like how to move out of it, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And I was doing something in a garden outside, and I was getting frustrated with, I don't know, like twine or something that was around something, and just applied the way I think during jiu-jitsu. And instead of freaking out and throwing this thing over the fence, I was like, let me slow down. All right. So I utilize jiu-jitsu in like other aspects. I noticed that a while ago.
Yeah, like your mind. I mean, and then that comes into the breath work stuff too, that we talk about all the time. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube, like under pressure, like when you're freaking out, would be much harder than trying to solve it, like being relaxed and being calm, you know? So I think or solving a math problem or really anything. I feel like that's true. Like there's an element of like staying calm, working your way through a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to freak out and
Yeah,
gas
nothing
out.
ever works better when you're like, you know,
Absolutely losing your mind.
tensed up. And
Yeah.
it just doesn't work that way for some reason. I don't know why that's the case.
Yeah.
But that's all our natural instinct, I feel like, you know. Anytime I'm learning something new, I'm kind of tense, you know. Like I'm learning striking, I'm like more tense.
It's sort of a fight or flight type thing.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
Or
what
like
to
we
do.
see people in the cold plunge, you know, they're all tense. But like now we've done it a little bit, we're more relaxed. I'm still like, it's hard, but like kind of know how to react to it more.
Yeah, you know, to expect. And I talk to people about this every once in a while that at some point doing a cold plunge every morning, my brain just checks out as I'm getting ready to get into it. Like I don't process that. Like
Don't overthink it.
What's it gonna feel like? I just get in.
Yeah.
And then I'm
Where
like,
you remember at the
this sucks.
beginning, it was like, oh man, I still have the video of like
Count to
the
3.
first one we did on this one, and I'm my breathing like I'm about to do a 1 rep max or whatever. And now it's just like talking to somebody as we're doing it.
Just
you
getting
know?
in. Well, just trying to psych yourself up to get in. Sometimes it's like, all right, count me down from 3. You know, it's one of those things. Jumping off a cliff.
Yeah.
Just all right, I can do this.
Now it feels like we can like be talking to somebody over here about something as we're getting into it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
But
that's part of that Jits Live now too. We got the recovery aspect. You know, you got the night before packing. You got the recovery aspect.
that's kind of how all this sort of started when I started actually working for you and doing everything. You know, a lot of stuff downstairs with Memento, up here with Recalibrate, taking people through the whole process. It just sort of morphed like my routine every morning. Actually, that kind of how it started was, I think, probably breath work with Jiu-Jitsu. I was trying to learn how to just calm down, so I was forcing myself to breathe through my nose. And then right around the same time, I think I saw Wim Hof on Joe Rogan and just started getting into the breathing aspect of it. And then I think you like unofficially challenged me to do this routine in the morning for like 4 weeks. I think you were talking about Sean O'Malley maybe. Doing a routine. And I was like, challenge accepted. You're like, what are you talking about?
I didn't even really challenge you. You kind of wanted to be challenged.
Yeah. You're like, that'd be cool. I wonder what if you did 4 weeks every morning of, you know, a workout, stretching, jiu-jitsu, cold plunge, sauna, foam
like
roll,
an
and that kind of stuff.
official routine.
Yeah, and do that every day. And then that was kind of the start. I think I'd already started losing weight, but I was dropped like 30, 35 pounds within that whole process. And I was changing stuff around. I wanted to lose weight and be lighter for jiu-jitsu. So all the recovery stuff has been key. And you were talking about it just a little while ago. You get addicted to it, and you look forward to getting in 40-degree water. That's insane.
Evan was talking. We were talking about this in the sauna today. It was like keeping your North Star. You know, like whatever that North Star is. Like jiu-jitsu can be a good one because it's like there's a lot of decisions around coming to jiu-jitsu, you know?
Oh yeah, like do I want to drink 20 beers or one beer and call it a night? Or
having like exactly, having like one North Star focus, and then that kind of helps you, I guess, like dictate other decisions around your life, you know?
Yeah, and that's got to be different from person to person. So even though I'm a hobbyist, I'm not competing. This is still a core for me, and I'm getting a little bit older. I want to be able to do this for a long time, so I've got to be careful with who I train with and all that. So just kind of keeping all that in mind. So it's got to be different for everyone. You're like 15 years younger than me, and you do jiu-jitsu competitively against like high-level black belts. So you're, well, maybe ours are opposite because I'm like going to sleep early and drinking one beer at night, and you're eating Checkers before matches and all that crap we were talking about the other day.
Not Checkers, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
That's the Southern style. No, I mean, but I mean, similar in ways too, though, because like I am kind of selective about who my roles are, and like always thinking about how can I stay healthy, how can I stay strong, but then balancing it with, man, I need to challenge myself, I need to push myself. I need to, find out about these techniques so I don't get my leg broken by some guy.
Yeah. And then part of recovery, too, seeking out the right professionals when you need help. Like, who's here yesterday? Onward
Asking
Knox.
for help, I think that's huge,
Yeah. I mean, if there's out of your ability to stretch yourself and you need someone to stretch yourself, you call Tori, teach you stretching, or Onward Knox.
Yep.
Do some, manual therapy in your neck or whatever they did.
That's what's so cool now. I feel like now we know a lot of these experts, these subject matter experts, that have spent 15 years in physical therapy, or like 20 years doing massage, or like 10 years doing stretching stuff. And like you get all these different experts on your body, and you're like, man, maybe my hip flexors are kind of tight, or maybe my posture's off in this. And it's like, it's so cool,
I never think about stuff. But seeing those seeing those people that know what they're actually talking about. There's a lot of people that are like, I don't, if I move this way,
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt as much, or if I take a bunch of ibuprofen, it's okay for a little while. How do you seek
That's not a real fix.
the root cause, figure out what's actually going on? And
Yeah.
you can only, YouTube and WebMD so much.
Yes.
Before you're going crazy.
WebMD and YouTube can really lead you down a dark path.
Yeah.
But getting good expert advice, hands on the body, I feel like that's what it's all about. It's true with what we do too with jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Like, getting good coaches has been the biggest difference for me. You know, getting good coaches, getting good experts, asking for help, essentially.
Yeah.
Because like we think we got it all figured out, but when you talk to somebody who's been doing something for 20 years, you're like, I don't know shit.
Yeah. They've seen some stuff you've never heard of.
Yeah. And it's not that we don't know our own body. Of course we do, and I think that is important. But like, I think asking for help, getting experts on everything, that's the key.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about jiu-jitsu, just being on the mat, even in between rolls or in between drills after class, or just kind of, just shooting the shit with people. And you never know who you're going to talk to and what they do for a living or what they've experienced. Like a shoulder problem, like, I'm sitting out today because this hurts, and someone's like, oh, what did it hurt, here or there?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, here. And they're like, oh, because last year I had this happen. I saw this person. They said this is what was wrong with it, and here's a stretch. And then all of a sudden you're like, on the way to recovery, just from having a conversation with a random person.
Yeah.
Or an actual person that does that for a living, and they're just nice enough to help you out.
Yeah, that's one of the funniest parts is the range of people you meet in the gym. Like, you'll roll with a doctor one round, and then you'll roll with like a 19-year-old that you're like, man, you don't even have a job the next round. And then you roll with you just roll with all the different types of occupations, types, everything.
Everyone's
on the mat.
positive
it's
too.
Crazy.
Everyone wants to help and help someone else, or help further along someone else's training or whatever.
I think because they realize how hard it is.
Yeah. Well, everyone's coming here for the same thing for the most part. I mean, I was talking about this a while ago. Before I came here, 20 plus years of just regular office work, and it was the same. It's Monday. Is it Friday yet? All that, like, everyone just
living for the weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
But I would be talking to a lot of people about doing jiu-jitsu at 6 a.m. And then at some point I was doing a cold plunge, and people would be like, "What? Like, why would you do that?" It's just like instead of like, "Oh, that's really cool. Why do you do that?" Like, it's just always such a negative thing.
Yeah, because it's probably like, like, I know I could be doing these things. Why are you doing these things? You think I'm better? You think you're better than me? Type of thing.
It's probably something like that. Just an extreme thing. Some people just can't wrap their mind around. They're just not. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with someone that just does not want to do risky stuff. They'd rather just.
But don't run somebody else down because of it.
Yeah, like that's cool. Like that sounds crazy, man. I would never do that, but that's awesome. Good for you. As opposed to like, why would you want to do that? That's crazy. I'd rather just be home on the couch, reading a book, which is awesome. But
Yeah.
But yeah. So here, in this building in general, I see so many people just working upstairs, downstairs. Everyone that comes in here has such a positive vibe about them, and everyone's wanting to help someone else out. And it's just, and on the mats especially, it was. It's been such a cool thing. Yeah, it's just a cool thing.
What let me ask you this: what are some of the type of guests you would like to have on that Jits Life podcast?
I want to have a lot of different types of guests. I think probably the primary type of guest I might have on a regular basis is going to be guys like me, or people like me, I should say. Hobbyists, aren't competing, have some injuries, maybe a little bit older like me, or maybe younger, and has 4 kids, something like that, and just kind of talking about kind of the same stuff. But I do also want to have specialists on, like Tia, Live Your Wellness. She does massage therapy, physical training, personal training. She did trigger point on me, amazing stuff. Someone like Tori, someone like yourself, that obviously competes. You got the ADCC shirt on there.
Yes. Shout out.
Yeah.
East Coast Trials.
Yep.
That was a fun one.
Yeah. I wouldn't know because I've never been there.
This was in New Jersey, actually.
So. That was one from Dirty Jersey?
Yep.
Nice.
Atlantic City, one of the dirtiest cities I've ever been to, probably.
I've never been there.
Yeah.
I grew up 3 hours north from there, and I've never been there.
You're not missing a lot.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But yeah, I want to have a variety of different people on, obviously the person everyone I have on is going to have something to do with jiu-jitsu in some shape, form, or fashion. Or someone that's a specialist on diet or sleep. I don't know, whatever. A bunch of people.
Well, that would be cool. Sleep specialist. That would be neat.
I thought Zach Kramer, breathwork.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes on Joe Rogan. I don't know if you ever saw that one with Matt Walker.
I don't think so.
You should watch that. He's a sleep specialist.
Okay.
It's kind of frightening though. He's talking about the difference between like 5 hours of sleep a night to 7. And it's crazy. Like, I mean, dramatic difference in what happens to your body over time. It's pretty scary.
Yeah,
but
and it's funny how different things affect the sleep in general. Like I noticed and I think this is probably a common thing or common knowledge, but having alcohol in your system, when it comes out of your system in the middle of the night, it wakes your body up. So if I drink a bunch of beers
every time,
if I drink a bunch of beers from like 6 to 9 at night, let's say I have 3 beers, it takes an hour for each beer, each alcohol drink to get out of your system. Dude. And sometimes for me, maybe it lingers. Maybe I have a stronger beer or something. It'll be 2 in the morning. I go to sleep at I get up at 4:15 every day, so I'm usually in bed at like 8:30.
Yeah.
But sometimes like 2 in the morning, I wake up and I'm wide awake. And it just I never really got into a good REM sleep, and I pick and choose when I do that, obviously. Or if
that affects your next day so much.
It does. And when I first started,
your mood.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. And then my whole day's off if I don't prep the night before and I don't do my regular routine in the morning. Not necessarily an OCD thing, which I have a little bit of that, but it's not. That's just I feel off because I didn't work out or I didn't get my normal routine. I didn't get the cold plunge in.
The sleep and then the gut health. Like I notice when I'm eating like not the best foods, like kind of feeling heavier the next morning.
Yep.
And then the sleep, like those are the 2 big things I notice. Like if I get good sleep and I'm eating quality foods, I just feel so much better. You
feel better. You train better.
I say that as I'm like eating Chick-fil-A before I roll. I try not to use it as an excuse too. That's another thing. I'm like, if I ate bad or if I slept bad, I'm gonna train regardless.
Yeah.
But I do notice the difference big time.
See, I did it. So I wasn't. I mean, when I first started, I really wanted to do jiu-jitsu, but I was lazy about it. So for a while, and it was because of what I was doing at night. I wasn't sleeping well. I was eating like crap, drinking a bunch of beer. So I even if I packed my bag at night and I was ready to go, I would still not even hit the snooze. I would just get up and go. Go back to sleep. I don't know if you remember it because I did it a lot. I would be here 2 or 3 days, 4 or 5 days over a couple week period, and then I would disappear for like 6 weeks.
And then the momentum's just stopped.
And then I would show up and I'd be like, why am I not getting any? Like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still fumbling around like a fish. And then when I started coming consistently, where I was coming 3 days a week or 4 days a week or 5 days a week, I started picking up things and getting better.
Momentum's crazy because like I watch a lot of sports my whole life. I'm just into sports, and like I hadn't watched basketball in a long time. I started watching basketball recently, and basketball they go on these big runs. Like you'll have a team go 12-0, and then the other team will go 10-1 or whatever, and it's like you start to realize the whole thing about momentum. Momentum is huge. So I believe like when we got positive momentum going, it, like you said, you take a week off or 2 weeks off, it messes with. That's why I even tell people to get injured. I'm like, man, come into the gym, watch class, sit on the bleachers, take out a notebook, come do the sauna or something like that. Like get in here because you stop that momentum, it just fucking
it's so
hard to get back.
It's hard. Yeah. I mean, you got to have a really strong mindset to like, partied up over the weekend even and come back on Monday.
Come back, yeah.
Have that like plan in your head. But yeah, for me that's been huge, is getting on a good roll of being consistent where I can, like last week I was in California, I was driving, I didn't train at all, sort of not eating great, whatever, but came back Monday. I didn't want to come back Monday. When I woke up, I prepped the night before and I was like, I had done this in over a week, like just the preparations, normal stuff. And I got up and I was like, shit. I was like, gotta live that Jits life.
Yeah.
So gotta win
it's
anyway.
Like, damn, I've got a podcast now. I guess I gotta do it now.
Do some work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good thing too. You kind of tie yourself into it. You almost give yourself a reason to come.
Yeah, it's like an accountability thing.
Yeah, like as a coach, I'm like, damn, I gotta show up now. These guys are waiting for me to be here.
It's kind of like that with me working here with the conversations I have. I can't really be like, just like not showing up and
you're
not
accountable.
Yeah, because I do that.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing. I do that for a few people that just struggle and are just frozen, and I became their accountability partner. So I, like Laurel, I create tasks for every day, and she checks them off.
Yeah,
and she's accountable Like she's like, all right, if I don't do it,
Yeah.
he's gonna follow up the next day and be like, where the heck were
We're
you?
we're meant to do that. If we don't have that, you know,
Yeah.
too much freedom is not a good thing. Like
Agreed.
freedom's a good thing. Obviously, we all need freedom, but we
Mhm.
also need like to balance that with discipline, because if we don't have that,
Yeah.
you know, we're wondering, we feel uneasy. It's just we feel anxious.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of what's happening right now in like mental health, I guess you could say. you
Yeah.
know? We have the most freedom we've ever had, but we also have the most mental health problems we've probably ever had as
True.
humans, you know, and it's like interesting how that works.
Yeah. Very. And actually, when I started that a couple of years ago, I was doing it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was creating like a text chain between me and my sisters, or my wife, or some coworkers, or whatever. With
Mhm.
everyone was like, yeah, let's all start working out and eating healthy. And I already struggled with that, like staying on task. So I was like, let me just create like a group of people that I have to be accountable for.
Mm-hmm.
So now, for the most part, I don't need that structure anymore because I'm in such a set routine. But I like doing that and being that for someone else that just
Mhm.
doesn't know where to start, or just wants someone for them to be accountable for.
Yeah.
But I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah. No, I think it does, man. It's like it's another little thing to keep you on that positive momentum,
Yeah,
you know.
agreed. So, I forget what you said, 14, 15 years in jiu-jitsu.
Mhm.
How many competitions have you been in at this point?
Dude, that's a really good question. I would love to like break it down to see how many matches and competitions I've done, but I would say about one a month for 14 years. That would probably be a good average.
Yeah.
One every month or 2 months. So at least 6 to
150
12 a
plus.
year, you know,
Yeah.
over 14 years. So yeah. See you, Diego. Take
See you,
care,
man. Have a
bro.
good one, dude.
Take care. Yeah, so that's a lot of and then with each tournament, you know, you have anywhere from 2 to 5 matches.
That's true.
So it's a lot of matches. It's crazy.
And you've done a lot with ADCC, the IBJJF.
IBJJF, super fights, Nagas, new breeds. I mean, everything you can imagine. Fuji tournaments, everything, every different type of rule set.
Yeah, that's a whole different level of, because you're doing all the same stuff that I do, except you have all these competitions, very different training camps. And
Yeah,
all that.
competition always like, you know, it stressed me out, but it also was very rewarding because I was like, you know, you're preparing. And the moment you jot your name down on, you start getting really nervous. And then you like worry about what people are going to think about you if you lose and if you get choked out. And like I've been choked out before and then had people make it their profile picture on Facebook. And it's just like, I think when that happened, I was like, you know what? I'm starting to get over the embarrassment part of it.
It happens.
You know, or like, you know, you just get, if you get beat in jiu-jitsu, they're going to post it online. Like, and they're going to be like, look at me beating this guy.
Yeah.
And that's part of our fear, I think, is like that happening, and then our friends and loved ones seeing that, and are they going to think less of me?
Yeah.
You know, and I think overcoming that has been like a big journey in my life, but I don't think you ever truly overcome it, but like I think at this point I've got it in a nice box to where I can compete, and like now I put myself in the mindset of like, man, I'm grateful to be doing this.
Yeah.
I'm 31 years old now, so like there will be a time when I can't compete anymore, and I'm like, man, I'm grateful to have had those battles.
Put in a lot of
And
years
put it
of
all
points.
out and compete against good people and give it my best foot forward and give it my all. And that's where I'm at with it now, is like have fun, compete, prepare as much as possible. Like you said, the routines, that's where I think it's not that different than what you're doing. Like I'm just trying to prepare myself to where when I go compete, I can be like, okay, I did the things I could do to prepare myself.
Yep.
Now let's just like let go and, you know, whatever happens, and be grateful that you're out there, and you'll look back one day and be like, damn, that was fun. You know?
Yeah. You can't control whether you win or not. You control the effort. That
You
goes into
can't.
it.
You can't. You literally can't. There's an element of like letting go.
Yeah.
You know, which is like life in general. You know, you can't really control a lot of things, but you can control a lot of things too.
Yeah.
But you can't control the result.
Outcome.
You know, you really can't. So
what
at
you
least
put
in
into
my view.
Yeah. Makes
so.
sense. Well, I think that's a good first one. A good place to end.
Yes.
Anything you wanna say on the?
No, I
exit
hope
here?
to be back on that Jits life,
Yeah.
and we'll come up with some new topics each time, make it fun and exciting. So this is fun.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate you
Yeah.
being on here.
Os.
All right, man. Deuces.
exact